All right, here we go. The watch list for Friday, November 18th. Let's look at the SPY, man. It is just up right below, I think, all-time highs. This thing is super strong. Um, Shippers are just stupid crazy. I'm going to talk about them a little bit because I have several shippers on watch, and I'll explain why. Um, Let me start off with SCON on the watch list. Now, this has made a huge move and gave back some of the gains, but it goes on watch for tomorrow, maybe a red to green, something like that. I'm going to show you how I called it today. One of our members, Adam, in the room put this on my radar. I mean, I think it looked probably like, maybe like this when Adam put it on my radar. So all I did was throw it on a chart because I'm not going to chase this, right? And then it just ripped up through 2 or whatever, and then finally came back down and then put in this little flag right here. This little flag pattern right about like this. So I was kind of pictured a trend line. Follow my mouse there. You kind of pictured a trend line right through here. And I thought if this gets up a little bit over 2, so I think I called it at 204 with the stop only 9 cents below 195. That was my idea. Typed it out in chat. And it was actually kind of cool because I put it on the projector so everyone could see the chart, and I was on the mic. So I kind of got to walk through this idea. And I looked up the float, said, hey, we got a low floater, super strong. Called it 204, 195 stop. Look what happens. It ends up going more than a double. It goes up all the way to 450 without ever stopping out 9 cents below. And so, whenever you get a move like that, you got to have that on watch the next day. So it goes back on watch the next day. So that's SCON. The low floaters are getting, they're moving pretty well. CYCC, I'm going to double check this one, the float on this one, but it's probably another low floater. 3.2 million is what I'm showing on FinViz. So that one goes on watch for a possible red to green tomorrow. BNSO, kind of the same thing. Hit a huge move, gave back a lot of it, but you never know. I mean, I don't like this huge topping tail, but you might get a red to green or something and get a second day move. Generally, when I see a move like this, I like to watch it for the next several days, and I sort of don't expect to trade it the next day, but maybe 2 or 3 days after. So, keep that in mind, but sometimes the next day just gives me a great setup. Believe it or not, I'm putting dry ships on watch. Dry ships, if you haven't seen dry ships in the past few days, then you haven't been trading. It went from 475 to $102 and actually 120 in the pre-market the very next morning before halting. Finally opened today. I think it was halted for a day and a half or whatever. Finally opened today, ended up closing at its lows and taking all the shippers with it. And so it's hard to know what to do with something like this because, it's hard to be bullish, but at the same time, you might get some crazy bounce. So I'm going to have it on a chart, and I'll just say this blanket statement for all the shippers I'm getting ready to show you. I'm going to have it on a chart, and I'm only going to trade it if I get a low risk intraday setup, just like we teach in the chat room or like we teach in our trading course. So I'm not saying that I'm bullish on this, but I am looking for a bounce in it. I'm going to reiterate one more time, only with a proper setup, all right? So that's DRYS. I have not seen crazy action like this in years. That is insane, but it's got to go on watch. So here's some more. GLBS, same statement stands for all of these. GLBS and their shipper for a potential bounce, only with a proper setup. I hate to have to keep repeating that, but I feel like I should. ESEA, DCIX, these are all shippers that, look at, here's an example. This thing was 26, and now it's 405 the next session. That doesn't mean that, it was worth 26, so this is a great bargain. The run to 26, there's not a trader on the planet that won't tell you that was stupid, right? But it might gap down tomorrow and then go red to green and give, maybe a 30% move in 5 minutes. If you're a day trader, you have to be prepared for that scenario and have it on a chart, right? So that's the reason I'm watching these. Okay, then more normal trades. CLD was on bounce watch. I'll take today's candle out of it. Was on bounce watch because it had kind of filled the gap, pulled back to the 20. No trades in it today. Look what it did. Now I just think, well, this thing's getting ahead of itself to the downside. So it just goes back on bounce watch. But there were no trades. And then lastly, I'm going with CCCL. Big pop here, lower high here, and a nice 2-day run here. Sellers came in. This doesn't have much volume, but if this can go red to green tomorrow, it might take out this recent high and then start to head up to this high. So it's kind of an obscure setup because it doesn't have great recent volume, but I'm going to watch it anyway. Hopefully we'll find some nice gappers, and hopefully some of these shippers will give me the setup I'm looking for. Like I said in last night's video, trading, it is a great time to be trading because you're getting some crazy moves. If you know what you're doing and you can catch the low risk inflection point type entries, like I showed you in SCON, there's a lot of money to be made right now. All right, so I'm done babbling. Enjoy the rest of your evening. We'll talk to you guys tomorrow.